Hello friends, this is Amrutesh. You are watching Wealtech Speaks, and in this video I will discuss how to select the best mutual fund for investment. So without further ado, let's get started. And in case you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I will request you to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as my blog, which is wealthechspeaks.in. The link is shared in the description below. So let's get started. So friends, before I begin with the method or the ways by which you can select the best mutual fund for investment is, there are three things you should keep in mind. When you are investing in equity mutual funds or in mutual funds for that matter, there are three things which you should keep in mind. First is that you should be patient. If you are impatient with the capital market, then you are going to take hasty and wrong decisions. So patience is the key. Allow your investment the time so that it can grow. Because with other investments, many of the individuals are comfortable, after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, this is going to give me a good return. But when it comes to equities or equity-oriented funds, people tend to be impatient. Now that is wrong. So one has to be patient with his or her investment. Second is not to take panic-stricken decisions. When the market is underperforming, people tend to withdraw and incur loss at that point of time. Now that is something which is not advisable. So avoid taking panic-stricken decisions. Third is, you should not allow greed to prevail over your common sense. So there's a lot of potential in the equity and the equity-oriented funds, but you should never be driven by greed. There should be a sense of logic behind your investment decisions. So that was the 3 points which I wanted to discuss before getting into the ways by which you can select the best mutual funds for investment. The first point in selection of the mutual fund for investment is select your investment goals or fix your investment goals, because that is very important. So identify the goal for which you are investing. If it is buying a house, then give reasonable time for which you will be investing and the fund which you will require. Based on that, make your investment. So if you're planning to buy a car, then definitely your investment goal is different, your fund requirement is different, your tenure will be different. So based on your investment goals, the objectives which you want to achieve, you should set your investment goals. So based on that, you have to take your investment decisions. What is your goal? If it is for a child's education, then plan out like what is the fund which you will require, say after 15 years or 20 years, and accordingly you have to plan out your investment. Next we come to investment horizon. Now this is also very important. Say if you are planning to buy a car, then definitely you won't be waiting for 15 years to buy a car. It will happen in next 3 to 5 years. So accordingly your investment horizon will be for 3 to 5 years. When it comes to buying a house, it might be 10 to 15 years. So you are setting a horizon for 10 to 15 years I will be investing, and whatever the proceeds which I get, I will be investing in buying a house. So that is another planning which you do. If you are investing to facilitate your child's education, then the investment will go for around 15 to 20 years. So you have to plan accordingly. Next point which comes in the planning is risk appetite. If you have low tolerance for risk, then definitely you will select funds which are less risky as compared to others. You will avoid investing in mid caps and small caps, which have considerably high volatility as compared to large caps. So you have to plan it out. What is your risk appetite? How much of risk you can tolerate? And based on that, your investment you should initiate. Last is selection of fund category. Now all the 3 points which I have discussed: investment goals, investment horizon, and risk appetite. Based on all these 3, you have to select the fund category which you are comfortable with and then invest. You have equity oriented funds, you have debt oriented funds, you have a hybrid fund which is also known as balanced fund. So you have to, based on the top 3 criteria which I have said, you have to select your fund category, and accordingly you can start with your investment. So I hope this was helpful to you. Now the key points which one should keep in mind while investing in mutual funds is, like I have discussed, is the risk ratios, fund performance, expense ratio and tax implication. Now I will discuss them in detail. Like risk ratio is one of the most important aspects which you should look at, because the standard deviation and the Sharpe ratio are few of the ratios which we use to find out how consistent or volatile the fund is, as well as the risk to reward ratio which we derive is also using the Sharpe ratio, like how much of risk is being taken to earn the returns. So that is very important. Like the risk to reward ratio helps you to determine the amount of risk associated with the investment and the return which it generates, how much of return is risk free, and standard deviation helps us to find out the consistency, the volatility associated with the fund. So definitely if a fund is very volatile in nature, it is better to stay away from those funds. What we look at is the consistency and the return which a fund is generating. After that, we look at the fund performance. Like I said, the consistency is very important for any fund. So look at the consistency, how the fund is growing, who is managing the fund, and what are the stocks or investments which the fund is making, which are the industries where they are invested in, how those industries might perform. So there is a bit of analysis which is like a fundamental analysis which you need to do, how the fund is going to perform. That will help you to determine how the fund or the investment which you are making, how safe it is, and what will be the expected returns, how it is going to pan out in the future. Remember, the past benchmark like 5 years performance, 10 years performance always give you a guide like how the fund has performed in the past. But you cannot rely on that. You have to understand what will happen in the future, because a fund which is doing well in the past may not do well in the future. So some of the analysis like this will help you to understand that how the fund is performing. Next we come to the expense ratio. Now expense ratio comprises of the distribution and selling expenses as well as the distribution expenses as well as the administration charges. All this form the expense ratio. So any mutual fund which is running, they have certain expenses which they incur while running the fund. So if you are having a regular plan, say you take it from an agent or a distributor, so there will be additional expense on the fund. So the expense ratio goes up, because under the regular plan you have to pay to the distributor or the agent who is facilitating the investment. So apart from that, you have the administrative expenses plus the maintenance of that fund and so on. Those administrative expenses add up. So say for a direct fund, if it is there where you don't have any intermediary like an agent or a distributor, the expense ratio is going to be less. But when you are having a regular plan which is having a distributor and the agent, the expense ratio is going to go up. So definitely the return on a regular plan will be less as compared to the direct plan. But in case you are requiring an advisor who will help you with the investment, then you will definitely go with the regular plan. But if you can do the analysis by yourself, then definitely you can opt for the direct plan. Last is the tax implication. Like for equity oriented funds, currently as we speak, up to 1 lakh of capital gain, long term capital gain is exempted from tax. You don't need to pay any tax on that. But long term capital gains in excess of 1 lakh, you need to pay 10% capital gain, long term capital gain tax on that. Apart from that, if there is a short term capital gain which
pretty might well happen, then you have to pay 15% tax on such gains. So you have to understand the tax implications on the investment which you are making. For debt funds, definitely it is different. There you have 3 years holding period, and then it qualifies as a long-term capital gain, and then you have a 20% tax with indexation benefit. But if it is less than 3 years for debt funds, then the gain which is you are making in the financial year will be added to your income and will be taxed accordingly. So that's it from my end. I think that this video will be helpful for you in picking up the right mutual fund for investment, and I will be making more such videos in the future which will be helpful. And that's it from my end. I hope you enjoyed this video, and in case you have any suggestions or any feedback, do share it in the comment section. I will request you to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as my blog, and I will see you in my new video very soon. So that's it from my side. This is Amritesh signing off. Bye bye.
In case you are interested to invest in direct mutual funds as well as trade in stock and other financial products, so a link is shared in the description which you can use to create a free demat account for yourself, and it will just take few minutes.